So, what I want to do first of all is welcome everybody and welcome yourself, Dr. Dario. Thank you very, very much for getting up so early in the morning. For those of you that don't know, Dr. Dario is actually in Atlanta, where it's now 5:45 a.m. in the morning. So we really, really do appreciate you getting up early for this session. What I want to do quickly is put a link in the chat bar that people can please go to on the menti.com. If you click on the link in the chat bar and take a minute or two, please, to complete the Menti. This is an evaluation on our part so that we can look in terms of, further evaluating our future skills week in terms of each session has a different Menti at the start of it. So we would really like you to do, students, is describe your perception of the new working world. So put in a couple of words there and hit the submit button. If anybody has any issues doing that, please do let me know. We'll take a minute or two to do that. Okay, so people can do that in the background and we'll crack on and get started here. Uh, Okay, folks, I very much welcome, to like them, like to welcome Dr. Dario here this morning in terms of the conversation about the future of leadership in the brave new world. We know that work is changing in every industry for every worker in some way, and so much change so quickly it can be very disorientating. During this unique webinar, Dr. Dario shares with the audience the biggest changes in the workplace horizon and delivers effective strategies to help everyone learn how to manage their personal brand and leverage their unique skills and talents to succeed in a brave new world. I would like to introduce Dr. Dario. Dr. Dario has been a senior executive for leading corporations in more than 20 countries across the world. Currently writes about business strategy, teaches at one of the largest and most innovative universities in the United States. As a second opinion advisor and consultant, he helps promising startups and middle market companies to refine their strategy, evaluate their new business models, accelerate their growth, and scale up globally. So we're very, very lucky to have him here this morning, I have to say. Dr. Dario is a frequent keynote speaker on topics related to business strategy, invited by trade associations, universities, and other institutions from across the world. So, thank you very, very much, Dr. Dario, as I said, for joining us this morning. Uh, if you would like to then take it away, and you can forward your slides, as I said, by using the small right hand button just below the slides where you can see them. And if there's any issues, I am here. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have been great. Thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you very much to Ulster University, and thank you to the students. I see students there, a lot of students, a lot of people, a lot of people. That's fantastic. Your curiosity here. I'm putting the slides here. Do you hear me? It's okay.
Loud and clear, Dr. Dario.
We will talk about the future of leadership, and I'm very glad to. Today is a great day for me. I wake up at 3 in the morning here in Atlanta. I am based in Atlanta, in the east coast of the U.S. And I wake up at 3 in the morning, and you can say, "Look, it's so early, and you feel tired." No, I feel happy. I feel happy because we have a lot of people. That is the next generation of leaders that are connecting to discuss the topic of leadership. I feel very happy for what Ulster University is doing and the employability division is doing there to prepare you to be better leaders. So for about 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, I will talk about my vision of the future. And I want to tell you, it's just a vision of the future. It means it's very difficult to connect the dots into the future. It's easy to explain when you arrive in the moment, but it's very difficult to connect the dots into the future. But I will share with you some things that I believe will happen in the coming decade, probably the moment that you will be making most of the money. We are living in a brave new world, brave new world, and I want to define this, right. Uh, one of the fundamental things that happen is there is a scale in everything, and a scale in the amount of people who are living in the planet, and a scale in the size of the challenges and the threat, and a scale in the size of the opportunities. And there is a fantastic book I recommend you to read if you have time in the future. You don't need to read right now, but if you have time, it's called A Scale. And you will see that everything tends through time to scale. And this is what happened to our civilization, is scaling. And as a result of that, I'm going at the right speed. Do you understand my English, which is a very unique one?
Hear you perfectly. Yeah, English is absolutely fine, Dr. Dario.
It's a very unique one. Uh, as a result of this escalation, we have what I like to call existential threats. And to understand these existential threats is very, very important for future leaders. And I define existential threats as something that is a threat to our existence as human civilization. This is a size of problem that we didn't see too much in the last 100 years. So problems are scaling and scaling and scaling. Uh, there is a very good book, another very good book I love to read, and I think it's important for everybody to read. It's called the Extinction. That it will give you a vision. And please, I will be optimistic. This is not, and we will talk about that. This is not a negative vision of the future, but we need to be rational optimists. And there is no doubt, according to scientists, that we are on track for a potential disruption for our civilization. Some people, they call it the sixth extinction, a human generated potential extinction. Scientists analyzed both common and rare species in the planet and found that billions of regional or local populations have been lost. And this is the result of the way we grew, the way we scale. When I was born in 61, we were about 3 billion people in the planet. Now we are 7.8 billion. This is a tremendous growth in the planet. And this is the way that we spend our wealth. We are becoming richer and richer also. The amount of wealth is scaling. Of course, you can say, look, there are people that we would like to see them with more things, with more wealth. But on average, it's scaling. And what we do is we take, we make, and we waste. And this was okay when we were 3 billion in the 60s, 61 when I was born. It was a small amount of people living in a huge planet. But now we are 8 billion. And it's still like 95% of our processes to spend the wealth and to use our energy is take, make, waste. And if you see the next 10 years, population will continue growing. And this take, make, waste approach is becoming a problem. today we know that in about 7 months we consume everything that the planet produces in terms of renewable natural resources. In 7 months, that means that we are depleting the planet. In the 60s, we use about, it's called biocapacity, right? What the planet can produce, about 73% of the biocapacity in 1 year. Today we use 160%. So we are, imagine a big farm where we take everything in 6 months, and what about the other 6 months? So we are basically today with this idea of I take, I make, and I waste, we are depleting the planet. If you see what happened, I remember to you when I was in the 60s, 70s to go to the small convenience stores. Now, grocery store carry more than 40,000 more items than in the 90s. 40,000. If you take the level of waste, which is the last step of this linear production, we expect to triple our level of waste, production of waste by 2100. If you take what is happening in the oceans, billions of pounds of plastic can be found in the oceans. About 40% of the world's ocean surfaces. At current rates, plastic is expected to outweigh all the fish in the sea by 2050. And again, I will come with a lot of optimism because I am a rational optimist. But we have this kind of existential threat. All this escalation in our population and our wealth. And by the way, I love it. I love it. I love to consume. I love the things. Well, that is creating, and the level of energy that we use, and is creating extreme weather. And I don't need to explain this. There is a lot of conversation. And at the same time, it's creating extinction in many species. Here you have the extinct species over time. And you see a big jump in the last 110 years. I am a business person. I am a business professor. I teach international business. I don't know about, I am not an expert about the laws of biology. But every morning on Sundays, I still read the New York Times in paper. I like to. I don't know why. I look, it's not good. It's not. Maybe it's not good. I don't know. But I love it. I love it. I love to smell the newspaper, have it in my hands the same way that when I was young. About 4 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, I don't remember. I saw a very good critic in the book review of a book called A Natural History of the Future. And I decided to call the author, Rob Dan, and I speak with him for a while about this existential threats. And I wanted to understand from an expert where we are and where we go. And he told me the following. Look, there are two laws that you need to understand, Dr. Doria. One is the law of dependence in biology. All species depend on other species. And we humans, we are probably more dependent on other species than any other species ever exists. And the other law that you need to understand is the law of diversity. The diversity stability law indicates that the more species we have in an ecosystem, the more stable the ecosystem is. Well, the conclusion is easy. We are in a process of extinction of a massive amount of species, making our planet and our civilization potentially less stable. But again, I am optimistic. What I want to share with you in this point, and after I will link to your role in the next decade, is that now we have a size of threats and a size of problems which is tremendously big. And the solution for these problems will rely on what I call hyper collaboration. I will say my message in this brief presentation is that the most important ability that a future leader has to develop is the ability of hyper collaboration, because the size of the problems is so huge that nobody can solve it alone. Nobody can solve the size of a potential extinction alone. No one country, no one company, no one individual. We can collaborate, but it will require a massive level of hyper collaboration in the coming years. The good news is, my vision is that it will happen, and I will explain why. I'm going at the right speed. Do you understand me? Everything is okay?
Yes, absolutely perfect, Dr. Dario.
Great, I'm happy. Yes, I like Estela that says yes. Gary, thank you that you say yes. It's very nice. It's very nice to see the text here coming. Josie, thank you for saying yes. Brenda, yes, that's nice. Very good, students. Very nice, very nice. Okay. Moira, yes, thank you. Matias, oh, my friend Matias. Hello, Matias. Magnus, yes. Francis, yes. What a wonderful thing. Okay. I need to continue. It's a brave new world. So let me stop here. So we in front of us, in front of you, and in front of me, I'm 61, but I plan to be here for many years. So you can complain to me if that future doesn't happen. You can send me an email in 10 years. I will be 71, and you say, look, Dr. Doria, you were wrong. I will say, I'm sorry, C minus for me. But the first message is the size of the scale of the problems, and we are seeing this with the pandemic. It will be something that I suspect you are very right. It will be so huge that we will need hyper collaboration. But now I want to talk about existential opportunities, and you will surprise probably with this, because I was surprised in the beginning too, I tell you. The opportunities also, they are achieving a size that I am amazed. I have to tell you, I'm amazed. Existential opportunities I call something that might significantly improve our existence. And I think the most powerful, be ready, right? The most powerful, be ready, be ready. The most powerful existential opportunity that is in front of us for the next 10 to 20 years is the cosmos economy. A few weeks ago, I was invited to give a speech about the future of business. And I love what I do. I love what I do. I don't know what to do if I love this. I love to be with you. I love to be with you. Doesn't matter if it's 3 in the morning or 1 in the morning, I love it. But when I started to think about the future and doing some research, I had the opportunity of having a very long conversation, very nice, with the author of a book called The Cosmos Economy. It's a new book. It is fascinating, I tell you, it is fascinating to see what is happening and what is coming in front of us in terms of the cosmos. Today, just today, no in 10 years from now, just today, the US Department of Commerce estimates that already 70 countries, 1,500 corporations are presently active and rapidly growing in the space economy. And here, look, here we are talking about looking for resources that we need. So instead of depleting the planet, Magnus says mining for precious metals. Very good. Yep. Fantastic. Thank you. Tourism. There is some ideas of dirty factories being placed in other planets. And it sounds like it's difficult for me. I still remember when the first astronauts arrived in the moon. And it's difficult for me to believe that, I think it's on April 6th, there will be a private launching with private astronauts going to the space. And it's so amazing. And by the way, it will be webcast. So whatever is happening, it will be webcast. Somebody says Magnus is long overdue. Very good. It's true. I think it was planned for the beginning of this year. Usually, by the way, usually happens that, right? Usually happens that. Usually happens that. Sometimes you are a little more optimistic in achieving the time. I'm not talking about this. I don't have expertise to talk about this specifically. But what I can tell you is what is coming in front of us, again, to exploit this possibility is an age of hyper collaboration. No single country can embrace the opportunity alone. No single company, no single government. We are going to see not only to protect our civilization from the existential threats, hyper collaboration. My second message here is that this word, hyper collaboration, comes again as a fundamental element for the opportunities. So what we are going to see, these existential opportunities, is the collaboration of Europe with Japan, with the United States, with other countries, to explore the space and create the cosmos economy. We will need all the countries and a lot of public-private partnership to stop a potential sex extinction. There is a fantastic book of an economist called Mariana Mazzucato, London College, which is called Mission Economy. And by total coincidence, because I was preparing my presentation, and this is my thinking, and looking for research, I found this book, and it's talking about how the practices regarding the cosmos economy will apply to a new way of, she called, capitalism. But the fundamental message that I read in that book is that hyper collaboration, public-private partnerships, cross-cultural collaboration will become a fundamental driver. So let me once I finish with this, I'm going at the right speed, not to worry. I'm going at the right speed.
Yes, yes, absolutely perfect.
Thank you. You are very nice. You are very, very nice. You are very, very, yes, Moira, yes. Oh, good. Xiang. Thank you very much, Jan. Well, once I talked to the author of the Cosmos Economy, I was so. Francis, always good. Thank you, Francis. Give me energy, like the coffee. It's like the coffee. Yeah, the coffee. Thank you, Shay. Yes, definitely. Thank you. Very nice. It's so nice. It's so nice. I tell you, I would love to be there. I would love to be there with you. I would love to be there with you. But this is the new age. It's very good that we have it. I was so amazed with the thing about the Cosmos Economy that I started to read more, and I discovered I'm not an expert in this, but this is a cross-functional need, a curiosity that you will need as a leader. There is something that is called something like holistic functioning. So there is a lot of research that shows that once we start to see our planet from a space, if we see it as astronauts, that I think in the beginning will be very few people, right? But even if we see it through webcasting, there will be a sensation that our planet is so small and so fragile that the hypothesis is hyper collaboration will be even stronger when we start to see more and more how this small planet called Earth is just a tiny part of the cosmos. In my journey uh, to know a little more, I had a very good conversation. What a nice conversation. What a nice man. With William Halal. I read his books many years ago. I was young. He's an emeritus professor, and he just wrote a book called Beyond Knowledge. And he is convinced that this opportunity of the cosmos will make us a better civilization, a more united civilization, that there will be a cascade effect that will unite us more. And again, this is rational optimism. We don't know, and he is a born out of necessity. It can be, look, it can be that there is a black swan, right? And we don't see that. There is research in a book, very good book, and it's also a TV series called The Overview Effect. Interviews with astronauts, and when they come back to the planet, they see the planet in a different phase, in a different way. Say, look, we are so small. We should be together. We should take care of our home. So again, for the challenges and for the opportunities, the most important thing, I believe, and maybe I'm wrong, I promise I will be here. You can send me an email. I will, in 10 years, I will be 71, and I will respond the email. And I hope for the next 10 years, we continue seeing each other. And if you come to Atlanta, give me a call. I love it. But I think if I have to say one thing to a future leader, become a master in hyper collaboration. Because that's the future. And what is hyper collaboration? What is the difference between traditional collaboration? Well, we move from geographically concentrated in traditional collaboration to mostly geographical dispersed, so people in different countries around the world. We move from monofunctional, so the people that studies marketing all together, working together, to cross-functional, multiple stakeholders. I see a tremendous opportunity in the future that we see. We see in the consumer economy a public-private partnerships, and mostly one culture to cross-culture. So I would say this is for me the first big message that I want to say. You need to become, I believe, master hyper collaboration. And it's this soft skill that will be the most powerful skill needed for the next 1 or 2 decades. One of the things when I was preparing this presentation, it's okay, it's nice. We are talking about these big companies, right? We are talking about SpaceX, a lot of money, working with government agencies from different countries with a lot of money. But how this will cascade to the rest of the companies? Do you think that this will cascade to the rest of the companies? And I reach this conclusion, and this is my conclusion. Maybe I'm wrong. We are talking about the future. Everybody has a different point of view. But I think virtual reality will be the fundamental technology supporting the democratization of hyper collaboration. Let me explain this. Very nice, Brenda. Very nice message. When we are here with I like 2D communication. I like 2D communication, like the one that we are using here, Blackboard. But when you use virtual reality, even with the level of development that we have today in virtual reality, there is no digital backdoor. When you use virtual reality, there is no digital backdoor. You are there. I recently, I teach my students in virtual reality sometimes. I just finished one course a few months ago. You are there. You cannot turn off the camera and disappear. You are there. The VR is tracking your eyes and your hands. The level of engagement is fundamentally superior. The second thing is we have something called territoriality imperative. Come to my office, let's talk. I go to your office, let's talk. That territoriality imperative, that fact that it's my office, your office, my company, my meeting room, generates some kind of separation among humans. Because we feel like, okay, this is not my place, and the other feel this is my place. Virtual reality has something for me that is magical. We live in shared, and we work in shared spaces. Spaces that are imagined and spaces that don't belong to the people who are collaborating. I tell you, I think if I said hyper collaboration is the most important thing for leaders, I have to say right now that it's very important for leaders of all kinds of size of companies to become early adopters and be familiar with the evolution and the power and the capacity to work in virtual reality. I believe that virtual reality solves a lot of problems in terms of hyper collaboration, not only problems of speed because you enter in the place right away. Yeah, definitely. The pandemic was an example of hyper collaboration with the development of the vaccines, etc. Yeah, fantastic. Somebody said that, and I read it. So my second thing is that I want to share with you is be familiar with VR. This is not for me a minor technology. This is a revolutionary technology that will change the way we work and the way we collaborate. I had a very good conversation when I was doing my research about the power of VR with Timmy Giraud, who is the lead of the XR and simulation experiences at Volvo Car. Volvo Car is using this for virtual reality to design cars to hyper collaborate across countries, across experts, and to test cars. I had a good conversation also with the founder of Body Swaps. It's a platform that I love it. I love it. I love it. It's a platform to train soft skills. Again, the level of engagement is absolutely fantastic. I invited about 1 year ago the author of the book Reality Check, a new book about how immersive technologies can transform your business, Sherry Medalton. He talked to my student. Again, an amazing speech about the potential of this technology in every single way. There is 11.2 million units of headset today, and it's growing, estimated growth. It grows at 34%. When somebody grows at 34%, it's not a minor thing. But I tell you, if I had some doubt, about the potential of VR, now I have zero. Because we are entering a new generation of VR that is called VR with biometrics. Let me tell you this. I had a good conversation when I read the news with Dr. Mohammad Shihat. He just published a study that measures neural activity when teams synchronize. So he's able to measure when the teams are in a state of maximum synchronization. I talked to him and I said, look, I think this will be fantastic for VR. Because one of the problems that we have when we are in teams is there is what I like to call a saying thinking gap. Everybody smiles in the team. Everybody says something just to belong to the group. But the thinking is what you see here. If we can have a technology that shows, of course, we have these privacy issues that we need to solve. We have to be aggregated data. But if we have a technology that can give you some kind of information about where you are in the team when you are working across cultures, you reduce the saying thinking gap, having something that you don't even have in physical interaction. So I tell you, I tried this platform, Arthur VR. It's a startup based in Germany, headquartered in Germany. They take a picture of your face and your avatar looks like you with your face. You move there. It's amazing. And the only way of seeing how amazing it is just being familiar with the systems. So if hyper collaboration is very important, I will say be familiar with VR technology is very important. But the VR technology is just a technology. And here there is some things that I want to share with you in the few minutes that we have. In the front of us, in your front and our front, in the next decade, I think we will see these existential threats. If I said it's important to be a rational optimist, it's important to hyper collaborate. If I say it's important for you to familiarize with VR, now I have to say, and very loud, very, very loud, very, very loud, it is important to become a rational optimist. And by the way, it needs to be taught. By the way, it needs to be taught because our brain has something called negativity bias. We tend to see very big the bad news, very small the good news. We, educators, you future leaders, we need to move the flag of rational optimism, because it gives you the energy to do what you want. It gives you the energy to change the world. There is a lot of research that it shows that it gives you the energy to live, the will to live. So I would say, yeah, rational optimism. I think the second thing that is important for a leader is to be curious. The problems are so big. The problems are so big. Opportunities are so big that you saw me. I cannot, I don't know. I am not an expert in all the things that I talk about. I need to talk to a lot of people. I need to be curious. Uh, and I think one of the ways of doing this is by changing the dialogue from having that desire of giving answers to start with why. How great leaders inspire everyone to take action. Start with why. Again, educators, you as leaders. More why, less, this is the final solution. Storytelling energizes people. I think leaders, they need to be masters of storytelling. See, solve, and scale. I think we do a see and solve, but we are entering an age of scale. We leaders, we need to think all the time how we scale this, because the problems are big, the opportunities are big, so the scaling factor, I think. And of course, since we are talking about hyper collaboration, social intelligence. So here you have a kind of map, right? Existential threat, existential opportunities, the focus on hyper collaboration, the technology to change that is VR with biometrics, some kind of things that I think are important to remember. I want to say a couple of things more because we don't have more time, but I want to talk about immutable needs. Every time that you want to predict the future, I think one good way to work is think about things that won't change. And I will tell you one that it's very difficult for me to believe that will change. We will always want 10 years from now, 20 years from now, solutions that are cheaper and faster. It's very difficult for me to believe that one day in 10 years somebody will say, I want this and I want to pay more. Or I want this and I want this to, you deliver slower. So I don't believe. So that means that we know that every single leader, we have this task of transforming the organization to competing with artificial intelligence and robotics, because they are the ones that can move the organization faster. And what the human will do? Well, the research shows that 30-40% of the work will be performed by machines. I believe it. The humans will be basically focused on creating things. And I will say creating things at very fast speed. Because since the machines are so fast, if we don't create a super fast speed, we will have this that I call the velocity gap. Now, the machines that are coming are amazing. I have a wonderful conversation with the founder of Nautilus. This is a gigantic drone to move products around the world with a decreasing price of transportation of 50%. Imagine these drones, no pilot, moving products. I exchanged information with Abdullah Sheshi, the CEO of the National Advisor Bureau, headquartered in Abu Dhabi. He's envisioning some kind of trains that will go under the water at super speed. So everything will happen in the coming 10 to 20 years at super speed. So we need to ensure that our part, not the part that the machines will do, our part will be creation at super speed. So I want to close with this. Hyper collaboration for leaders is fundamental. Understanding VR opportunity and how to work in VR is fundamental. Be a rational optimist is fundamental. This kind of social intelligence is fundamental. Be curious is fundamental. But also for a leader, it's fundamental to understand first that he has to be a master in creating sense of urgency without the organization. And we don't have time, but there's a good book there that I'm putting there. And he has to be a master in leading curious people. This is a fantastic book also written by a professor, Sarah Stein, from Stanford University. So I hope you are still there. This is my vision of the future. Money back guarantee. If it doesn't happen, you send me an email in 10 years from now. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Dario. A lot of takeaways there, really, to be honest with you. In terms of what it means that for our students, in terms of them as future leaders. Again, I've put in the chat bar there that this session is being recorded, and I think it would certainly be worthwhile for people to kind of go back over it again in their own time and look at some of the text that you've recommended in relation to having a much better understanding, of the takeaways in relation to this. I just, as I say, we'll wrap it up. Is anybody any questions that they would like to ask? I mean, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for our students to have somebody like yourself there, Dr. Doria, to kind of pick your brains, if you don't mind. We've about sort of 5 minutes left. So if there's anything at all that anybody would like to ask, I'm absolutely sure Dr. Doria would be quite happy to, take any questions for the last 5 minutes. Oh, we have. What do you think the potential implications of virtual cooperation? So, Dr. Dario, what do you think are the potential implications of virtual cooperation?
First of all, I want to say, look, it's so nice because I'm seeing what a smart group of students you have there at Ulster University. Wonderful question, but not only that, the level of engagement. I'm seeing text and text. I'm so happy with it. But no, it's unbelievable. It's fantastic. Yeah, I think it's the implication for the future is tremendous. That's probably the reason why we have companies talking about the metaverse, and I think it will move us to a new future in terms of collaboration, but also in terms of resources. So imagine you can enter into the virtual world and have 4 cars and visit different places and have different houses, but everything with a very low ecological footprint, right? So the opportunity for simulation, collaboration, even for the satisfaction of the desires of humans in virtual reality will be fantastic. Still the technology needs to be improved, of course, but it's improved at a speed that is really amazing. So I will invite the students and that student that asked the question to read some of the books there, and I will say, look, go for it. Go for it. Once you go for it, you put your VR headset there, you say, oh, what is this? I cannot believe. So go for it and try. I think it's very important for future leaders to try and work.
Okay, thank you. Listen, well, I can't thank you enough. I mean, we certainly appreciate, obviously, you getting up at what I would suggest would be a ridiculous hour of the morning, to give us such a thought-provoking and interesting talk in terms of both the future world of work and in terms of collaboration and having that resilience and that optimism. And it can be very dark. When I first kind of looked at your slides, I was thinking, oh my God, this is, the end of the world as we know it kind of thing. But you turned it around in terms of having the necessity for that optimism. I love the money back guarantee. If you're not right, then I'll hold you to that one because we've recorded it. I'll be over in Atlanta in 10 years' time going, no, you were wrong about that one. Thanks very much. But it was really, really brilliant, Dr. Dario, and I really, really thank you. We have a number of other sessions coming up now. Leadership Not Just for Boomers will be starting at 12 o'clock. You can go to the ulster.ac.uk/skills week and join those talks. What I will say is, unfortunately, the talk that's due to be on at 3:45 this afternoon, there's been a slight change in relation to that, but that will be updated on the website very, very soon. The speaker that was supposed to talk on the 3:45 session has unfortunately been delayed, a 7-hour flight delay in Riyadh, believe it or not. So these things are very fluid, and we're trying our best to kind of make sure that everybody kind of can get there. There you go. Thank you very much, Stella. Much appreciated. And again, we have a number of sessions also running tomorrow as well. So I'm going to wrap it up now. Again, listen, thank you very much, Dr. Doria, for your, again, absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to see it back myself and to get some of those books and have a look at them in relation to it. And I know our students, you can see from what's been said in the sidebar, the chat bar yourself, that the students have really, really enjoyed it. Very, very thought provoking. And really pitched at a level that we were looking for in terms of getting our students to kind of think about the future in terms of understanding that the world is changing, the necessity for that collaboration and understanding of becoming those leaders of the future, creative problem solving, because that, as you say, a lot of work will be automated, but I still think the Mark I cerebral cortex is probably the best supercomputer ever invented out there, to be honest with you. And I think we need to remember to use it, a lot more. I remember somebody once saying if we were told our brain was an app, we would probably use it more frequently. And I think that there's an element of truth there, to be honest with you. So I would just like to wrap up and say thank you both to yourself, Dr. Doria, and also then to our students. Thank you very much, guys, for your input and your interaction. Absolutely excellent. I know Donna Caldwell, who most of you will know, who's based on the Coleraine campus. She's going to be looking at the recordings in the chat bars, and there's going to be a few spot prizes and whatever sent out to our students in terms of your engagement and stuff with that. So just keep an eye on that as well. So thank you all very, very much. Really, really appreciate your time. I will certainly be in touch to pick your brains and in the future in relation to this one, in terms of kind of looking to see kind of where we can collaborate again in future. And hopefully at some point maybe we will get the opportunity to meet in person. There's an open invite. You're ever in Northern Ireland, please certainly do come. We can go out for dinner and have a chat and a conversation about this topic that we're all clearly very interested in. So thank you very, very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. You're up nice and early now. The sun's shining, so you can make the most of your day. Um, Norman, can you play the spoons if you meet? Of course I can play. Of course,
Let's see.
absolutely.
Now we close.
Ta-da! There you go. All
Thank
right,
you very
folks.
much,
Listen,
Norman.
I'm,
Thank you,
I'm,
Ulster
I'm.
University. And thank you all the
Thank you,
students. Thank
sir,
you very much.
and enjoy the rest of your day. I'm gonna stop the recording